Whitchurch-Stouffville is one of the areas that is often overlooked when speaking in the York region. The reason being that they are located on the far northeast border. However, over the years, it has become one of the areas where most people like to move from, let's say, Richmond Hill and Markham, due to home prices surging the most, and Stouffville is still relatively lower than those. The population as of 2021 was about 50,000, but currently it has grown in the past 10 years at a rapid pace, and it is projected to be over 70,000 by 2031. As per request of a viewer, I would love to speak to you about the market analysis of Whitchurch-Stouffville and have a look how is that stack up against the GTA overall. Hey, welcome back to another video on the AV Team Real Estate channel. I'm Antonio and I am a local real estate agent in the GTA. If you have been enjoying the weekly video from this channel, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel so that it can be shared with more people who want to get updated on the real estate market in Toronto. Greatly appreciate it. If you have any inquiries about the real estate, don't hesitate to contact me via the first link in the description down below. Whitchurch-Stouffville is really not that huge, but the homes are concentrated within Stouffville. Let's now take a closer look at the sales, the new listings, and active listings from the beginning of 2023 up until May of this year in 2024. Time goes by really quickly. We are now already almost half a year gone, and so far it has been up and down year.
So here we have all the sales activities in Stouffville since the beginning of the year in January of 2023 up until May of 2024. And the blue we have the new listings, and the red is all the sold transactions or the sales, and the black are all the active listings, meaning the new or old will be accumulated in black. So let's start with the beginning of the year of last year in 2023. So it started off very slow with 25 sales only. Bear in mind that Stouffville is a small kind of neighborhood, so they don't have as much sales as in other area like Markham, but this is a good indicator where it starts slow usually in the beginning of the year. And the new listing and the active listing was relatively low as well, because basically we're coming off from the holiday in Christmas, and then it's usually slow in the beginning of the year. So this is no difference. Then in February it went up from 25 to 37 sales, and the new or active listing are start to trend up, and it went pretty well last year in March too. So it has a big jump from 37 to 69 sales, and the gap between the active listing and the sales are not that huge, so the price it could be competitive. In April it stayed relatively flat from 69 to 71, so it didn't go down as well, but usually spring market comes, it's usually the hottest season. Compared to the active listing, the gap it wasn't huge, so still the price will be quite competitive. Then in May it rose again from 71 to 90, and this gap from the active listing actually went down. It's actually very competitive. We knew from June we had a rate hike again from the Bank of Canada, and as a result it went from 90 to 63, and the new listing, active listing, was quite high as well. Definitely we're seeing a downward pressure, and the summer wasn't even great, and we continue to have a big gap between the active listings to sold listings. We went from 63 sales to 47, even further down. It didn't go well at the end of the year, as you can see, and even the fall, which is the second highest season for real estate, it didn't go well as well, and the gap continued to be very, very high. And the winter came, it just got worse and worse. That's pretty much tell the story of 2023. So at the beginning of January 2024 was very encouraging. As you can see, the sale was 47, and last year this time was 25. So we actually had a very good start of the year, and the gap between the active listings was also adequate. And then we have from 47 sales to 55 in February. The good market still trending up at this time of year, and the gap between the active listing was still relatively close. And then March we had a stronger from 55 sales to 71, and the gap between the active listing still pretty competitive, which is a good sign for the market. However, we did have a rate hold in March of this year, which kind of discouraged all the buyers, because we were all expecting a rate cut. which didn't happen. And as a result, we have a very slow spring market in this year, in April. Instead of going even higher like last year, they went actually downward from 71 sales to 67, and they're piling up a lot of active listing in the market. See, there's a big gap. The market was actually quite expecting the rate cut and to have a very good momentum carry over from the beginning of the year, but obviously it didn't happen. And May, it was got worsened. The gap between the sales from 53 actually went down from 67 to 53, and the active listing was through the roof. You see, from the beginning of last year of 2023, we have the highest active listing on the market. We have the widest gap between the sales and the active listing. So don't let anyone tell you that the market is quite good, because this pretty much tell you the story of what's going on now in May, and I don't see June are any better right now.
So here we are at the all home types average prices in Stouffville in 2024. So beginning of the year, January 2024, we have 1,199,787. And in February, we went to 1,322,183, which is up. And then in March, before the interest rate announcement, we actually reached the peak in terms of average prices in Stouffville at 1,466,850. However, the rate announcement was quite disappointed. It was a rate hold instead of a rate cut, and as a result, many buyers were back to sitting on the sidelines, and it came down in April to 1,395,195. And instead of a high season in spring, which started in May, it actually came down to 1,165,691, which is below since the beginning of the year. And you can see the average prices in Stouffville dropped quite significantly. And now June will remain to be seen at the moment. So here is the month of inventory in Stouffville, and the top part we have 2023 from January, and then the lower part we have the 2024 data from January up to May of 2024. I say month of inventory is very important to determine the momentum of the real estate. So the month of inventory is calculated based on the active listings divided by the total of sales of that specific month. And that month of inventory basically is telling you the number of months that will get depleted if assuming there are no new inventory comes to the market. So for instance, in January 2023, we have 89 active listings, and divided by the 25 sales of the month, you get 3.56 month of inventory, which means it's close to 3.5 months to deplete all the inventory. In the general rules, anything under 4, it will be still categorized as a seller's market. However, the greater the number, the more favors to the buyers. Anything between 4 to 6, that will be more like a balanced market, and everything over 6 is basically buyer's market. To give you a summary of 2023, since January, we have pretty high number, 3.56, which is closer to the balanced market or a little bit shifting towards the buyer's market. And in February or March, we have lesser number, which means it's favored more to the sellers. So we have as low as 1.69 in April and 1.37 in May. However, we did have the rate hike in June and July, so the numbers start to trend up. We have reached highest in Stouffville at 3.96 in September, and it kept above 3 until late December. However, we did have a hot start in January of 2024, which is close to 2 in 2 months of inventory, and it went even lower in February and March at 1.51. The rate cut was expected in March, but unfortunately it was a rate hold announced in March, and as a result, in April we did have a higher month of inventory, and then in May we have the highest month of inventory at 4.3. It translates to only 23% of the listing have a chance to be sold. So now let's take a look at each of the asset class, the average prices in Stouffville. So first we're going to take a look at the detached homes. The average price in May was $1,663,059, and compared that to last month of April of 2024, it was actually up from $1,648,027, which is still up. And compared that to a year ago in May last year in 2023, it was $1,489,460. So obviously the price was up from last year and also from last month. Now move on to the semi-detached homes in Stouffville, and the average price in May was $1,125,000. Compared that to a month ago in April, it was $1,102,000, which is up just a little bit, but compared to May of last year in 2023, it was $1,170,000. So it was down from last year in terms of semi-detached home average prices. So now move on to freehold townhouses in Stouffville. The average price currently in May is $977,917. If we compare that to a month ago, it was down from $1,070,000. And if we compare that to May of last year in 2023, it was also down from $1,072,526. Freehold townhouse definitely has gone down the most compared that to semi-detached homes or detached homes. Now let's move on to condo townhouses average prices in Stouffville. And in May, we actually have no sales at all. In Stouffville, we really have very small quantity of condo townhouses. So the chances of no sales is actually quite high. And just last month in April of 2024, we have an average price of $856,000. And then if we compare that to May of 2023, the average price was $762,478. So it was actually up from last year. However, this data could be really influenced by one of the higher price condo townhouses that sold for more, or it could be also skewed down with lower price condo that were sold. Bottom line, there are really little condo townhouses in Stouffville. Now let's move on to condos average prices in Stouffville. Currently in May 2024, we are sitting at $672,600. Compared that to a month ago in April, that was $831,832. We are currently down from last month quite a bit. And if we compare that to even a year ago in May 2023, it was $726,667, also down from a year ago. However, this data, Stouffville does have little inventory of condos. So like I said earlier, any high price condo can really influence the pricing quite a bit. But regardless, it is still downward trend for the condo in Stouffville. Stouffville came a long way to becoming a well-known community for families, and slowly it became one of the popular destinations for many Asian families to live. Basically, within this community, you'll find all the major retailers, restaurants, and grocery stores in the vicinity. The average median household income is approximately about $122,000, which is on the higher side. Most family languages are English and account for about 57%, and the second dominant language in Stouffville is Cantonese, which accounts for 8% of the population. I hope this market on Stouffville could give you a good idea of how the market condition is going. And if you are interested in relocating here in Stouffville or have a general inquiry, don't hesitate to contact me via the first link in the description below. Also, drop a message below if you are interested in a market update for any other area in the GTA in which you may be interested, just like this one in Stouffville, where a viewer requested it. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.